My name is Claire, and 3 days ago, I collapsed on stage at my company's awards gala in front of 600 people. The hospital called my parents that night, but they never came. Instead, my sister tagged me in a photo from their spa retreat with the caption, "Family weekend, zero drama." I said nothing. 3 days later, still recovering in that hospital bed, I saw 75 missed calls and a text from my dad. "The bank won't release the funds without your signature. Answer now." 10 minutes after I replied, he called back in a full panic. I'm 31, and I run operations for a logistics firm I helped grow from 11 employees to over 200. My parents, David and Linda, never once asked what operations director even meant. To them, I was always the daughter who chose a boring desk job, while my younger brother Ethan chased his dream of being an influencer. Ethan doesn't have a real job. He posts videos about watches and cars he doesn't even own. My parents fund his lifestyle and call it investing in his brand. I fund my own life and call it Tuesday. Last Thursday was our company's 10th anniversary gala. 600 people, clients, investors, my entire team. I was being honored with the Founders Impact Award for restructuring our supply chain and saving the company from bankruptcy 2 years earlier. I'd invited my parents 3 months in advance, called, emailed the details, even offered to fly them in and cover the hotel. My mother said, "We'll see, sweetheart. Ethan has a brand trip that week, and someone needs to help him pack." I told myself it was fine. I walked onto that stage in a dress I bought myself, holding a drink I paid for with money I earned. My CEO said my name, the room stood up, and that's the last clear thing I remember before the floor came up to meet me. I woke up in an ambulance, then a hospital room, with my assistant Priya sitting in the corner looking terrified. The first thing I asked her to do was call my parents. She did. My mother picked up on the second ring, heard everything, and said only, "Oh no, that's terrible, keep us posted," before hanging up. They didn't come that night, or the next day, or the day after that. On day 2, bored in that hospital bed, I opened Instagram and found a photo my sister Megan had posted. My parents, Ethan, and Megan in white robes at a spa resort 2 hours away, captioned, "Family weekend, zero drama, just peace and vibes." She had tagged me in it. I sat there staring at it, not crying, just quietly realizing that in 31 years, I had never once been the priority in this family. By day 3, I felt strong enough to check my phone properly, and that's when I found 75 missed calls from my father in 6 hours, and the text demanding my signature to release loan funds. Here's what they didn't know I remembered. 2 years earlier, when Ethan wanted to open a retail storefront, my parents had co-signed a business loan, and because their financials alone didn't qualify, the bank required a third guarantor. My father had asked me to sign as backup, just a formality, you'll never actually need to do anything. I'd said yes, back when I still thought being useful to my family meant being loved by them. Now that storefront was struggling, and some final disbursement needed my signature to keep it afloat. They hadn't called 75 times because I collapsed. They'd called because I was, once again, useful. I sat up in that hospital bed and texted my father back. "I'm still in the hospital. No one from this family has visited or called since I collapsed in front of 600 people. I saw the spa photos. I understand where I stand now. I won't be signing anything until we talk about that. Not the loan." 10 minutes later he called, his voice tighter and faster than I'd ever heard it, explaining the bank's deadline and how a default would hit his and my mother's credit too. I asked him one question. "Did you know I was in the hospital before you needed my signature?" After a long pause, he admitted my mother had told him the night I collapsed, and they'd chosen the spa weekend anyway. This isn't a story about revenge for its own sake. It's about the moment I finally saw my family clearly, without the hope I'd been wearing my whole life like a filter. I told my father I needed time, not just to think about the signature, but about whether I wanted to keep being the daughter who shows up, funds, fixes, and forgives, while getting nothing back except a phone call when they need something. I called my own lawyer the next morning, and found out I wasn't as trapped in that loan as they'd led me to believe. I checked myself out of the hospital 2 days later. No one from my family came to get me. My assistant Priya drove me home, and she showed up for me more in 3 days than my parents had in 3 decades. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally only remember you exist when they need something from you. It took collapsing on a stage in front of 600 strangers for me to finally see clearly what 31 years of hoping had kept blurry. I'm still healing, not just my body, the rest of it too, but for the first time, I'm not waiting by the phone for them to call, and if they do call again, it won't be me who's desperate to answer.